I would say that my current organization, which is Viasat, it's a hidden gem, I would say. I keep waiting for Mondays. Mondays are no more a kind of Mondays for me. Mondays are like days which I keep waiting for because I love my job, and I think that's something which most of the people who are successful do. They love their job.
It doesn't matter what you pay. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who is your CEO. It doesn't matter what is work environment. It's if I'm working for Tata Steel, my life is there, right?
Exactly.
And I think like Infosys has created that brand when Narayana Murthy was there, right? Then there are larger than life brands. For example, SpaceX. No matter how worse the work environment is, I want to work for SpaceX, right?
Let's talk a bit about employer branding, because this is something which is pretty new a subject for many people. I was talking to one of my friends who was working in Tata Steel till 15 years ago, and then he joined a company in Zambia. And then I'm going to have a heart-to-heart conversation with him. I'm going to ask him, one of the questions which I'm going to ask him is, how does he do employer branding so that people are ready to jump outside India and go and land in Zambia and work in some of these organizations? So I think this is a lighter note, but I think this is a very important need, because there are companies which are in core sector, and they are in some of the places which are not exactly, very tempting places. So I think they have got even a bigger need for them to, learn from both of you as what employer branding is. And I think this forms the future of HR. I think something which Yogesh also mentioned. So let's talk a bit about what kind of things you are doing and anything which you would like to share with the audience. And once again, thank you so much to have both of you, because I think I can see that we are listening to people who are experts in this field, who have got lots and lots of depth in this field. So anything, maybe we can start with Parul. Would you like to share something, the teacher, and then we'll come to the student?
Yeah. So I'll actually start from your previous question of how, is the teacher still on me, and then I'll go to the employer branding. So I realized when I was a student in engineering college, there were few subjects which always were difficult for me. One of them was computer networks. Then there was a subject which was my favorite, but I always wanted to learn more in that subject, which was data communication.
Okay.
When I got into the lecturership, these were the two subjects I chose to teach because I wanted to learn them more, and I realized that you cannot have a better understanding of a subject unless you teach that.
Wow.
Unless you teach a topic, you would never learn that topic, because teaching, I would say, gives you an opportunity to learn and to reciprocate.
Wow.
You get an opportunity to reflect. Like, I wanted to give you also the compliment that you write books, and I'm also in my journey of writing a book. Yeah. I have a similar feeling of like the way I am thinking about teaching. I have a similar feeling about writing also, because when you read books, learn. When you read books and when you learn from others' writing, you gain their knowledge and you try to absorb them.
Right.
But when you write, you actually reflect that back to others. So when you're writing, you're not only kind of reflecting back whatever you have learned so far, but you're adding whatever you have, your version of the truth, I would say. What you have actually consumed, what you have absorbed. And when you're writing, you actually can summarize everything you have learned all over your life. Like if a 40-year person is writing a book, he or she is able to summarize his or her entire 40 years life into a book.
Very true.
I think that when you teach, actually really doing a justice to your entire knowledge. And that's how, since you asked it, how I learn from writing. I learn from writing articles. And right now, as you are already aware, that I'm already in a verge of completing my book, which is into recruitment. So I'm writing, and the moment I start writing topics, I realize that okay, after writing this, I am a little bit more knowledgeable on this knowledgeable person on this topic.
This is awesome. Parul, I'll just take a pause here. I think what you said is very powerful. There is a book which many people keep on talking about. They say that the meaning of life, the book which is based on a person who was in Holocaust days and all that, So he was in one of those concentration camps. And then the writer says that, of course, it's a pretty old book which people are still reading. Writer says that when you get a meaning in life, you actually have got the power and courage to endure through some of the most challenging moments in life, and that keeps you on the go. Writing. Now, it's a very interesting thing which we're going to discuss. Writing, if you ask me, writing is the best way to learn things. Writing is the best way to be a very good speaker, because once you write, you gain a lot of clarity, you get new neural pathways which get formed. And I can see that happening with me. I'm saying this with humility. I used to be a very shy person. I used to say one line, then I used to stop, then I used to second line, I used to stop. And after writing all these things, once I wrote extensively, you see that maybe log bolte Hindi mein Saraswati maa ka aashirwad aa jata, but actually your brain is making new neural pathways. So if somebody wants to become a very good speaker, write. And that's what people never used to listen to me. They started listening when Ankur Warikoo said the same thing. He said the same thing, that the best way, the simplest way to become a great speaker, I'm just talking about what he wrote, and I could see the connection, is just to do two things. One is to record 1 minute video for 90 days, for example, and second is to write one page. And I did all of this over the last more than 1,000 days. And then I saw the connection. I still recall when I was hearing this his audiobook while driving through Shaniwar Vada in Pune, and then I heard these two things and I started smiling. I stopped the car and then I was smiling. Oh my God. When I said the same thing to Mendes, people used to question, and that's what is coming from some of these people. Taking the next step now. So I have been writing some biographies with some CEOs, people who used to be ex-board members and CEOs. There are 6 books which I'm writing at the moment, which are for other people, 6. And one of them is a person who is 75 years old person. Full of life. He used to be a very senior person. He used to head a company with some 5,000 people. And I told him, sir, you are going to please add, if you thought of living for 100 years, add 10 more years from my side.
Yeah.
He said, why do you say so? I said, writing at this age gives you a new meaning in life.
Right.
It gives him the excitement. We get connected once in a week, and then he talks about his childhood days, and then he talks about some of these things when, for the first time, somebody pushed him, and then he fell in a little pond, which was a shallow pond in his river, in his village, and that's where he started learning swimming. And then I connect this with the actual, the principle of giving a push or nudge to people before, so that their comfort zone breaks, and that's at the core of people learning anything new, right? Anything new. I'm pretty sure that you also must have got some nudge from Yogesh. Hey, Parul, why don't you start writing? Hey, Parul, why don't you start writing your first page? This is the core principle of this universe. And then when you start connecting, he also starts saying, oh, Arun, I didn't look at it this way. And then it is adding excitement in his life. First, it is the excitement of completing one chapter, then second chapter, then completing the entire book, then seeing the book getting released, and then gifting the book, then putting some message on the book, signing it up, and then and then thinking about the second book. I said, sir, please add 5 to 10 more years to your life, because that's at the core of writing. It gives you purpose. And a life with purpose is a life which is really, it's not only about number of years, it's also about excitement, fulfillment, happiness, joy. I'm pretty sure, Parul, you must have got this, initial sense of how to write one page. And then as you be on the go for few days, I'm pretty sure Yogesh must have played that very vital role. I can see that that's what I've seen happening with many people. Initial nudge is required, and then the birds, they fly, they start learning how to fly. That's how it happens. That's the law of nature. So writing is very important. I think we can have separate conversation on writing, because people get a feeling that book is life, and that's the reason there is something with books which have made them stay over last thousands of years. Very interesting. Very interesting. So coming to employer branding, you're saying something, and then I took a pause. If you can add something more,
No, that's okay. I think that like when we write a book, we not only I would say kind of become a medium to share a knowledge, but we also do a personal branding. As you said, that writing actually make you a good speaker. Similarly, writing and launching your book kind of adds a lot of value to your personal brand. And I would replicate the same to the employer branding as well.
Absolutely.
Because employer branding again is something which is a bread and butter of any employer, and the most important ingredient of employer branding for any of the companies is the employee value proposition. Like any company, for example, if there's a shop, they always want to market their top dresses in front of the shop, right? Everyone wants to market the best. Similarly, employee value proposition is the best of any organization. So I think that for me, employer branding starts and ends with employee value proposition, and then there are ingredients which we can add, which we can remove, and which we can I put the frills on. But that's something I'm already working on for my organization. Wow. I'm a part of a team which is working on every day. They're working on re-looking at the employer branding and the employee value proposition. When we are talking to candidates, we are the first one who interact with them externally. So they should know that what's there. Why should they join the company we are offering to them? Why that company? So if you are having an answer to their questions of why, I think you have a strong employer brand.
Awesome. Thank you, Parul. Thank you so much for sharing your nuggets of wisdom. Very powerful. Yogesh, over to you. Yogesh is Bhishma Pitama of employer branding in India.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. This is true. I'm serious because I've gone through his profile. Yeah, Yogesh.
Right. Actually, I must say, Arun,
I'm listening to the student, Parul, and then you will see how a student ranks. Go on, Yogesh. Sorry.
Right. So I think we have just started in employer branding, I must say, and it's not just in India, across, right? Because I still don't think that we all understand what we are trying to do very well, right? Let me start with a few very simple examples, right? So let's look at the way movies are made across the world and are being marketed, right?
Yeah.
So there are two sides of it. If you look at few of the big movie series, like Thanos, like Harry Potter's and everything, right? So what happened here? Sometimes one of the movies good or bad, right? But still you will see each one of the movies doing like 1,000 crore, 2,000 crore, 3,000 crores, right? Kind of business. Okay. So what happens? So employer branding is like this. There are two parts of it. One is what is the content in the movie? Is the movie good or is the movie bad? Right. Mm-hmm. So what Parul has spoken, EVP, right? Employee value proposition is actually the movie. What is this movie? Is this movie a good movie or it's a bad movie? Right. It's a different thing. We can speak this later. And as an employer branding professional, frankly speaking, this is not much of my concern. Right? I leave it to entrepreneurs and founders and company executives to make a good movie or a bad movie, or to make a good company or a bad company. Right? I'm not in a job of making a good company or making a bad company. Right? So I'm not a director of the company, director of a movie or a founder of a company. What is my job? My job is to look at the product and see where do I need to take this product, right? And what is the expected value that my founder of a company or my employers, they expect out of this, right? What is their objective? Okay. So again, so let's say, for example, I'm a small company of 200 people, which is in somewhere, let's assume they're in Coimbatore.
Right.
So I don't want to create employer brand, which is like Infosys, right? Which is TCS, which is Tata. Look, I am based out in Coimbatore. I work in maybe I have a very small skill, let's say chip. I'm into chip designing and those stuff. And my job is only to hire good talent who come to me and work in Coimbatore, right? Now, what would I gonna do, right? Who is my real target audience? I don't want to spend a lot of money, go everywhere. So as an employer branding professional, I'll create my niche. So one, I will look at the EVP. I will redefine the EVP. Exactly. I may not create the EVP, but I will redefine the EVP based on my audience. Exactly. Right? So one is I will define my audience with respect to audience. I will define my EVP. Let's assume, I'll give example of a movie, right? If my movie is a Superman movie, I know that my audience are actually children. Yeah. Right? So my core audience are actually my children who are into lure. So what I will do is I'll create my EVP as per them. So I'll create my trailer, which should excite children and people up to the age of 16 or 18 years, right? Similarly, for my 200 people company, I will find out who is my talent. Maybe I have 40% talent, which is a lateral, 60% campus. So what I'll do, I will identify my campus. I'll focus more on campus brand. And in lateral, what I will do, I'll create a good company proposition, which is like when somebody would like to apply for a job which is available at my place. And he basically belong to places around Coimbatore. Let's say I live in Kochi and I'm working in Bangalore, or let's say in Pune, and I'm looking for a job in data science or chip designing. Suddenly I get an advertisement of Coimbatore company. So my advertisement will not go to somebody who's sitting in Delhi at all. My advertisement will only go to person who belongs to Kochi or got friends who are from Kochi, but he is based out in Pune and he's into chip designing. So I can bring him to Coimbatore, which is a place closer to Kochi, right? So this is a very data-driven scientific approach. Define where do you want to go, how do you want to reach, what kind of resources you have, and what is the ROI about everything, and what we really want to achieve over a period of time. What Parul also mentioned, company also need to understand about employer branding as a whole. Let's say Tata Steel, right? You just gave an example of Tata Steel about your friend. Since I was in Jamshedpur 2 weeks back, I heard a lot about Tata Steel. Right from the airport, from a taxi driver to everybody was talking about Tata Steel. This is a real employer branding, right?
Exactly.
That takes years to build. That's a character that we need to build, right? Where it doesn't matter what you pay. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who is your CEO. It doesn't matter what is work environment. It's if I'm working for Tata Steel, my life is there, right?
Exactly.
And I think like Infosys has created that brand when Narayana Murthy was there, right? Then there are larger than life brands. For example, SpaceX. No matter how worse the work environment is, I want to work for SpaceX, right? ISRO. If I'm working for ISRO, I have a pride. If I'm working for Indian Army, and very importantly, I will end my conversation like this particular topic with one last thing. Look, in Army, we have something called war cry, right? For every, and war cry is not for the entire army. For every unit, for every battalion, there is a war cry, right? And for this, if you see, this war cry is different for every battalion, and they can die for that war cry. So I always say to companies, can you create an EVP that people can die for? Work for.
Absolutely. No, you are absolutely.
Like Taj, people die because they were working in Taj. They die for the brand. They said, I am a Taj employee and I will not get bow down in front of terrorists. I will take care of my guests and I'm ready to die in Bombay. Right? Can you create that employee value proposition? It's not about money. It's a pride of working for Tatas, for Taj.
Very, very powerful.
So this is what I believe EVP is.
Exactly.
I'll give 2 examples. You spoke about Tata Steel. I recall one of my seniors who currently lives in Pune. He had some health problems in the family with somebody, and because of that, he had to go to the hospital. There is a hospital in Tata Nagar Jamshedpur, Tata main hospital, and there it was a serious problem with his child, and then the child was supposed to be in the hospital for a long time. And he said that Arun, company used to, because he was under Mediclaim from Tata, special Mediclaim, which is like a super powerful Mediclaim. It's not like a 3 lakh and then a lot of terms and clauses. He told me that Arun, I used to carry, bundles of currencies, notes, stacks of notes in that bag, bag in which normally people carry some vegetables. I used to carry a bag full of currencies to the hospital and used to hand over to the doctors. It went on for many days. Come what may, I'll never leave Tata. He never left Tata's.
Yes.
My case, I still recall that when it was raining and then there was something happening. So there were some union members who actually were trying to make some excuse and all that, and they were putting some blame on me. I recall it was long. I'm talking about early 2000. And I was fresh from BIT Mishra, engineer साहब है, क्या है ये कौन बंदी कौन है जो मुझे मेरे बारे में ऐसा बोल सकता? Who are these people to say something? No, I will not take it. And then I said to my boss who was standing there, hey, Mr. Whatever, how can this company look at somebody who is like making all kind of false allegations? I don't want to be in this company. I'll put in my paper. I'm leaving. I went to this extent. Can you imagine? I still recall. I took my bike and I came back to the hostel. There is a small place very close to Jamshedpur. And one of the leaders, managers, he took his gypsy, Maruti gypsy in those times, and he followed me. See, employer branding we're talking about, the kind of connect which these people have. He came to my house. It was still raining, and I was totally devastated because I had taken up. I said something which I should not have said. I'm talking about our own minus 0.0 version. I don't know which version I was. This guy comes to me. He knocks on the door. He makes me open the door, and then he tells me, Arun, can I come in? I said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be in this company. Something happened which I didn't like. He came. He cajoled me to take my decision back. He made me meet managing director. Tell me which company is going to do all this. Tell me. The person is no more today. I still recall him, this guy. He came, he made me change my decision. I knew that it was a wrong decision. It was a decision which I had taken in the fit of whatever, this thing, region. See, these companies have built this because of this deep human connect. I always tell people that anybody who is good, who is a good human being, who does not know much of politics and all that, is a good, talented, meritocracy-based person. Tatas, nobody can beat Tatas. They value people. And I think the examples which you gave is absolutely right. Everybody talks about Tatas. I know that even people who have lived Tata Steel long back, I'm talking about Indian Tata company, which Tata Steel is one of those flag bearers which has got very deep, this thing. Even those people who have left the company, who have settled, they still know somewhere in their heart, they know that this company has got something. Of course, people have been looking for their career, and they have settled in San Francisco and some of these countries, places, which is great. Amazing. So I think the next question is, when can we expect to see the next book number 2, Parul? First one is going to come. So second book on employer branding from both of you, co-authored by Yogesh and Parul. So when can we expect? The audience would like to, the nation would like to know.
Right. So maybe Parul would like to take this up, because I think we have to complete your first book. And I'm really bad, like as you said, Arun, like that initial nudge, though, I think I have created few video programs, like in Udemy. I have one program which is one of the flagship Udemy program, being attended by thousands of people. I've stopped counting at all now. So it's on Udemy for business also. But I think I can create video programs very easily. But book writing, I'm still, that initial nudge is something that I need to learn from you.
So I think let's take a pause before we move on to Parul. So this Udemy thing,
yes.
So happy that you spoke about it, because I saw this somewhere on LinkedIn, and I couldn't believe that we have got a celebrity among us, because it's not easy at all. There are people who have created programs, and hardly anybody has bought those programs. And I could see that your program has been bought and seen by more than thousands of people. So yeah. I think that's a separate topic. But Yogesh, would you like to share something as what did you do? What magically did you do? Because it's not easy at all. How did you create a program which is so much people are in love with this program? Yeah.
So I think I should reveal here, the content of the program was not mine, actually. It was Parul's, right? So
I think I can say the Parul is, you said she is the guru and teacher, and
yeah, exactly.
So both of you, the way I think I can see this vibe, so nice, amazing. Yeah.
Right. So the entire content belonged to Parul. It was just that, what happened, like in COVID, I started sharing that content with a lot of people who I knew, right? Somehow in conversation. And then I realized that it has a lot of, since I did that so many times, like I was doing workshops and everything, and I started using that content in my workshops. And then I became, that whole content was like, I have done, if I'm not wrong, in 2020, I have used that content almost more than 70, 80 times in my workshop.
Yeah.
So what happened, after 80 times, I realized that, it creates a lot of impact, because a lot of people were coming back to me, asking me queries about that particular, content side, which I have taken from Parul. And then what I did is I thought that I'm not so proficient in actually, one delivery of that content. I understand that, what is an impact that it creates every time.
Yeah.
And, I think, Arun, that really requires a lot of practice, because I couldn't have done it in the first time. I'm saying I've seen the impact that it was making on the audience. Wow. And the long-term impact, not just good feeling or nice feeling. It was something that they learned, and then they came back, they were getting jobs because of it. Yeah. And more people coming back saying, I said this in interview, I cracked them. Right?
Awesome.
And I thought that, that will change a lot of things. And it was a global content. So we saw a lot of people from, other countries coming back saying, we use that content and we job, right? As a recruiter or as a people manager. So then I thought, let's create it with the help of Parul. Then I created the content. I created a small program first. It is still there on Udemy. It is also one of the best programs. It is known as Boolean Search. and it became hit. Then I thought, let's extend this program. Why to keep it a small program of 5-6 people? With the similar content, I created an extended program of 5 to 6 hours.
Wow.
And that 6-hour program became a hit.
That's the one we're talking about. I think awesome. Yeah. Audience, please take your time and go to Udemy and make a search by Yogesh. So by which name? Yogesh Sharma, right?
You can use me as an author. Second is you can also use a name called social media recruitment.
Social media recruitment and Yogesh Sharma. Very nice. Thank you so much for sharing, Yogesh. I think it's a very big achievement. I know it's a very something which only 0.1% or maybe less than that people can attempt. Excellent. And Parul, once again, awesome. I think great. So I think I have got a couple of pictures which I wanted to share, and this is for the first time that I have not even spoken about it. It's more than 1 hour 15 minutes. And audience is going so brilliant. I think thank you so much, both of you. It's an amazing sharing from both of you. Let me share a couple of pictures, then we'll finish in next maybe 5-10 minutes time. So this is one picture which I saw. Parul, somebody from your family, right? Your kid has written this message for you. Happy working day, mom. Happy. I saw this somewhere.
Yeah.
Pick this up because it's very interesting that happy working day is something which I've hardly seen a child thinking about and then giving this gift to this kind of greeting card to you. Would you like to say something about your family and?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I would say that my current organization, which is Viasat, it's a hidden gem, I would say. Oh. There are people who are working in that organization for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. And there are most of the people like that who are working with me who have been in that company, who are veterans, I would say. So that my organization has an amazing work culture. So I felt that I keep waiting for Mondays. Mondays are no more a kind of Mondays for me. Mondays are like days which I keep waiting for because I love my job. And that's one, I think that's something which most of the people who are successful do. They love their job. So I love my job, and my daughter very well knows that I love my job. And then there was an event which was Talent Palooza, where all the countries participated, and I'm a part of a global team. I am a global talent attraction and sourcing leader in Viasat. Yeah. So I report to the global team as well. I don't report to people in India. So most my working hours are also late night. Like I start my day a little late. I get up early, but I start working late. I started around 11:30, 12, and I work till late. I work till 12:30 or 1 at night. So these Palooza timings were like from 8 p.m. to 12, and every day I used to get up again, get ready, take a shower, again put my makeup on, and was ready for this. So my daughter was observing this fact that mom is very excited about it. So she wrote this in my desk that happy working day, mom, happy Talent Palooza. She wrote this with a note. So she always asks me that, mom, whom do you love more? Is it me or your work? And I said, I love both. I cannot prioritize. Both of you are important.
Amazing, Parul. I think you can be one of the best speakers for many of these companies where you can go and share your thoughts, because so many people use this thing like, I love my job, but I think this is the first time I have heard somebody, and I can see that, the way you spoke, that you actually love your Monday. Because see, I have been doing a program, I think some of you might have seen some of these videos on Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So Monday 5:30 so we start our week at 5:30 on Monday. And there many corporate people join. The idea is to start enjoying your week, start enjoying your day. It's a gratitude. It's a great opportunity which you have got, and make some plan for this week and make it rocking and big. I think instead of giving all kind of these things, I will just invite Parul to come and talk to them for 15 minutes time, and it's all done. Amazing, Parul. It's really great and inspiring to hear this. Then I've got second picture. Let me quickly do, and then we'll have some quick things, and then we'll. This is something which I saw, Parul. So this is. Super 30. I didn't know that there is another Super 30 among our HR Shapers group. So, yeah, would you like to share something about it?
Yeah, so recently there was an award in my hometown, Gwalior. So there was an award arranged by Goonj Media. It's a radio FM channel.
Okay.
So they actually kind of organized this award ceremony. So they wanted to identify top 30 women in the entire city who are trying to make a difference in the society. And there were different categories. There were people who are socially doing something, who are making changes in education field, who are making changes in like government field, and then some kind of social service sector. A lot of things. There were a lot of categories, and I actually did not imagine that I would ever get such kind of award, because I thought that I might not be something who is contributing locally to Gwalior, because I am working for a global company. I hardly actually get time for my own city. But then I got this award for a reason that being in Gwalior, I am actually working globally, and I am representing my hometown to a global organization. And doesn't matter that where I am working from, I'm still able to try to make an impact. I'm trying to contribute. I'm trying to manage a work-life balance. I have my family here, and then I work. I try to manage both the work in parallel. So this is like trying to this award I got as a recognition for a global leader and a global like women professional.
This is the best decision which they have made, Parul, because we spoke about the book which you are writing. We spoke about some of the mentoring which you have provided to Yogesh, and I think all the people, many people in the field of HR. We spoke about you being the seed for Yogesh to have created this program for Udemy, which has become a hit. And of course, we spoke about some of these, I think both these areas of talent attraction, talent acquisition in the field of IT and services. And of course, we spoke about employer branding, and both are, I think, unique topics. I think, Yogesh, we agreed, right? With the way you both explained. Both are very insightful, very specific skills and areas which is not for everybody. So let's put our hands together. Yogesh, you can also join me for Parul, because I think late Parul, I'm pretty sure Parul is someday going to become one of those 30 people at national and international level in various fields. Amazing. Best wishes, Parul. And there is another picture which I've got, and then we'll move on to a couple of last queries, and then we'll close it so that you can enjoy us the remainder of Sunday. This is something which I saw. You have been speaking in various forums, Parul, I guess. Right? Diversity, we talk to Parul and we don't talk about diversity, equity and inclusion is something which I think should not happen. So would you like to share something about this forum?
I can say this is again from the same award ceremony, Super 30, where they actually invited me. So, very nice. Yeah, and then since you talked about diversity and inclusion, so yeah, I got a chance to speak about it in a lot of forums, including my own organization event, where I spoke about how important it is for any company to be focused for diversity and inclusion hiring, and how they can utilize different tools which are already existing to hire diversity, how they can actually kind of make an approach that for any position they are getting for hiring, let's make a pledge that let's look at the top female profiles or top diverse profiles, top specially able people, and then switch to the regular candidates, because they are the one who should be looked upon at the first instance, because they might not be getting opportunities everywhere. So that's what I have been speaking about in a lot of forums, and I think that this picture is from the same award.
It is a very insightful thing, I think, Parul, because for a woman, it's not easy at all. It has got a lot to be done. So taking care of family, kids, and then getting ready. Of course, you have to get ready also. It's not like many of us who just get ready, put something and run away. No, and then taking care of all these job responsibilities, and then also inspiring husbands at times. Just like I also get some inspiration from my wife. So a lot of things you are doing. So would you like to share some messages for people, for ladies for women who are working professionals and they have got family? So would you like to share something is how do you do? Do you have more than 24 hours? I mean, how do you manage all of this together? Yeah.
The first and the foremost thing is that whatever you are doing, you should love it. Then only you would be able to do justice to your job. And when you do justice to your job and when you're happy, naturally you are going to give best to your family also. Because if you're frustrated at your job, if you're not liking it, that will reflect back in your family also. Then your children will get irritated. Then your husband will get irritated that you keep cribbing about your job. You keep cribbing about your internal working. But what if you start sharing all the good things about your current job, your learnings with your family? So whatever you are learning, if you are reflecting that back to your family, they also become a part of that organization. So if Yogesh should agree with this, that as much as I understand about my organization Viasat, Yogesh equally understand about my organization Viasat. And same applies to him. I equally understand about his organization eClubs. So we keep sharing in our morning hours when we are doing meditation, when we are doing yoga together, when we're sitting in our home garden, thinking about our this day and how our last day went. We keep discussing about new ideas, and I think that that's the reason that I'm able to create that kind of work-life balance. The only important thing I felt is that I love my job, and that's what is bringing other things working for me. Because as you said, it's not possible to have more than 24 hours, and I need to spend a lot of time with my family. And the good thing is that I'm working remotely, so I am doing justice to my job. I'm not taking undue advantage of my working from home. I'm always on my camera on when I'm doing meetings. My team members, my manager know that I'm working. I'm all ready when I'm on calls. I'm not just I'm in a kitchen making chapatis and attending the calls. When I'm on call, I'm 100% on call with my door locked. People are being instructed that I'm on a call, so I want this 1 hour for me, and then I'll move outside and spend the next 15 to 20 minutes with them. So these are some of the arrangements I have made in my home with the help of Yogesh. My in-laws are also very supportive. They respect my job. I think these are the things which is bringing the difference.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is just an important point actually, so everybody is speaking about flexible work environment, right? But what is happening, one of the biggest challenge here is they don't have that kind of infrastructure at their homes, where they can do justice to that remote working, right? So people are sitting on bed and taking calls, so when you do such things, right? Then you see that companies wants you to come down to office and work from office and everything. So I think the Parul brought in very, very important thing. Like if you really want to include diversity, I think people really need to understand that if they want to work remote, they want to get flexibility, they have to bring in certain kind of discipline in that work environment also.
Beautiful. Amazing talking to both of you. So last few minutes, would you like to, Parul and Yogesh, speak about some of these one or two inspiring books and movies, or something which you would like to share with the audience, which are close to your heart?
Yogesh has read so many books all over his life. I think I haven't read even 2% of what he has read. I try to absorb whatever I read, and I try to replicate in my real life whatever I read. So few of the books I always love reading by and again is one book which really inspired me was Art of Happiness from Dalai Lama. That was the book that really realized me that yes, I am on a right track. I'm trying to be cheerful, joyful. I try to see the best part of the thing. If I look at this glass, I would say that this is half full and not half empty. So I try to see the positive part of the things. That was the thing from the Art of Happiness. Then one of the book which Yogesh gifted when we met first was The Greatness Guide by Robin Sharma. Wow. I'm again reading that book. I like reading books which has simple, which summarizes
one pager, 2 pages.
One pager, because that gives me the feeling of achievement that okay, I read and completed this chapter. And so that's one book which I really liked. I really started reading from the Shiv Kheda's You Can Win when I was very young. When I was in my school only, that was the first book I read, which was You Can Win. And then William Shakespeare, a lot of books from William Shakespeare, and then Chetan Bhagat. But these are the books which really inspired me a lot, which I have talked about.
Very interesting. I'll just take a book here, just a moment. It's very inspiring, which you said. So whenever you get time, Parul, maybe I'll dispatch a book of mine, which also has got 2-3 pager kind of little story. So there are 3 books which I wrote, which have got 2 or 3 pager. I'll share some copies with you, and I would like to look for the same real feedback. Thank you so much. Great, Parul. And I think what you said, one thing you said is very important, because in the morning sessions, I do this, give a little demo, polite demo to people, where I ask them to talk about the page number. Then some other person, I ask him to talk about the line number. And just while they're reading that one line, we take some 5 minutes time, and then people see that all the success secrets are getting connected with that one line. So it's very important. Whatever we read, we think over it and we implement. What you said is very important. Coming to Yogesh, I can see a lot of books here behind you. And I think you said only 2%. So yeah, would you like to share something about books? I can see that you have read well read.
Right. So I think these all are the books I've read. I've not kept it just for the background, right?
So he's
read all of them.
Right. So and I try to actually read not just once but many a time. So the first book actually that has left impression on me when I was very, very young, I was in my school days. It was Mahatma Gandhi's Experiments with Truth. I read this in Hindi, Satya Ke Prayog, right? And I think that's a deep book, to understand at that age, that created a lot of impression. And you can think of like at the age of 28, I gifted the Greatness Guide to Parul, right? So I like reading books. I very strongly believe that you are average of 5 people you live with. Look, I'm in Gwalior today, right?
Yeah.
So I think my best friends are books, right? So I try to get better friends in the book.
Good, Yogesh. And I'm so happy to note that when it came to you thinking of a book to be gifting to Parul as your first gift, kind of in terms of book, you thought of the Greatness Guide and not one of those 95 rupees books which are there. Even many good authors have written, Chetan Bhagat, and there are many books, which are like on lighter note, but very nice that you thought of giving this book, which is the Greatness Guide. Amazing, Yogesh. So we spoke about it. I'm pretty sure you must have traveled across the places. Any one or two places which you would like to talk about? I saw some videos of both of you going to Jaipur and Rambagh Palace, because my wife comes from Jaipur, so we keep on going to Jaipur. Or any place which inspires you the most? You like?
So there are a lot actually, So Arun, we travel a lot. Yeah, like I think thanks to the life and you have a life partner who's your friend. Yeah. You get to travel almost every month. You just go out and travel somewhere. And since we work from home, sometimes we just go there. We work from those locations. Yeah, there are a lot of places, where we traveled and we think we left ourselves. In Hindi, we say, हम खुद को छोड़ के आ गए हैं वहां पे. ऐसी जगह है, हम अभी भी वहां हैं, मन करता है वापस वहां जाने का. One of the recent places where we have been to was Isha Yoga Ashram in Coimbatore. Okay. We were there for almost a week, and we went to first Wellington, and then we went to the ashram. We were there, and I think from the time we came back, we are still thinking of going back only. Wow. So we were just looking for availability of accommodation, and we'll be there again for a week. So that's a divine place to be. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Parul, would you like to share something about places?
Yeah, this is one of the places recently we started experiencing this, that when I recently started meditating. I would not say I'm a very good meditator. Recently I started meditating, and one of the biggest influence with who actually kind of brought this thing in my mind was, I would say, Sadhguru, because we got a chance to listen to him that day when we were there already. So it automatically happened. No one told me that you meditate. Even Yogesh used to meditate a lot, but he never told me that you meditate. But I suddenly started doing. And when I meditate, when I close my eyes, in the next 5-10 minutes, I start seeing, the Adi Yogi idol in front of me. Wow. It has happened to me continuously for 3-4 days. And then the 5th day, Yogesh told me that he's also seeing that. So that is getting transferred to him. So I think that there are a few places, like he said, where you think that you have left yourself, you have left your soul there. So that's one of the place. And another place was in Manali, which is Kuksar. If you have heard about it.
Yeah, I've been
that is that thing where we realize that our soul has been there already. So we wanted to, these are the few places we wanted to again revisit, because otherwise there are a lot of commercialized places. We have been outside India as well, but there are a lot of places which are our favorite. But if you ask it, which places actually have our soul still with them, these are the top 2 places, I would say, which still have us there.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I had once gone to one of the hill stations close to Pune, Panchgani. So I felt that, the same feeling. So I ended up writing an entire book on Panchgani. Great. I think nature is one of the biggest, best sources to feel great about ourselves and feel great. I think, Parul, I'm pretty sure that you meditate in multiple ways. You meditate when you read a book. You meditate when you write a book. That's the first thing. You meditate when you speak and mentor Yogesh and other people. And of course, you meditate when you do this actual meditation. So there are different ways of meditation, and I think amazing. Great. Last question, not the least. If you write a book on the life and journey of both of you, apart from some of the things which you spoke about, employer branding and hiring, talent acquisition, what do you think would be the title of that book? This is a signature question which I ask everybody. What do you think would be the title based on your life and journey so far? And of course, it's all open life and lot of new things we are going to see. Yogesh,
I would say, Yogesh, I don't know, Yogesh, but I just think that life is blissful. So I think that you need to get the best out of it. So I would say that life is blissful would be something which I would write on.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Yogesh, coming to you, from the same book, if you have to name a couple of chapters, headlines of chapters, 1 or 2 chapters, what do you think would be the chapters from the same book? 2-3 chapters from the book.
So one important thing, I believe that, look, it's being said, I am, I'm not a human who are spiritual, right? I'm a spiritual, who are experiencing being human, right? So I believe in that long journey of, being spiritual and being a part of that nature. So I think I and Parul, we both come from that background of, just become nature. We are just nature, right? So it's a long journey and we are just become a human for a while, right? So this is how we think. So I think I would like to write something, my experiences about it.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Yogesh, would you also like to share what we experience in our farmhouse whenever we go?
Maybe we would like to write about thanks to COVID, it really helped me because I came back to Gwalior. And the first thing I did in Gwalior is when I came back, we had some time, because suddenly you started living remote and, you got a lot of time in hand. You don't have to go watch movies or anywhere else, right? So I started developing a farmhouse, and I started planting a lot of trees inside my farmhouse and outside also.
Wow.
So I planted around 5,000 trees, 3 years back, and that became a whole jungle today. And what happened, in my farmhouse, I already had around 600 trees. So I and Parul have experienced, so when we go to a farmhouse and when it's little warm, it's little hot, when we go there, suddenly these trees, they start moving, and they start welcoming us.
They start welcoming us.
Yeah, and even when we feel a little hot, then the environment becomes very pleasant in 5, 10, 20 minutes once we are there. So it happens today, it happens every time when we go there, we become part of that nature, right? So
and if it would have happened only with one of us, we would have been thinking that okay, it could have been just our own assumption,
psychological thing,
a perception, but it is happening with both of us and it is happening very regularly.
Yeah, so it's like maybe I will take you to the farmhouse and I will ask you कि अभी आपको गर्मी लग रही है क्या? You will say हाँ बड़ी गर्मी लग रही है. I will say okay, wait for 5 minutes, right? And then and there is no air, nothing, and then suddenly you will see that tree starts moving, and then you start feeling better. And this happens every time,
Fully, because people talk about law of attraction and all that. We absolutely, there is a bonding which we develop, and I can see that both of you are people who develop very good bond with nature. That's the reason. Some of the places which you spoke about, even I could feel that energy. And absolutely, I can connect with this. But this example, and good that Parul you share, you inspired. I think you asked for this example. And Yogesh, thanks for sharing. It's a very powerful thing. I think I asked a question to Parul earlier that does Parul have more than 24 hours? Now the same question to you. 5,000 trees and so many of these things, Udemy and a lot of books, and she said 2%, and you have got you are such a well-read person. And again, XLRI. So do you have more than 24 hours, Yogesh? Now this question to you.
Sorry.
Do
you have more than 24 hours? Traveling, this and working,
I have a lot of time, Arun. Like frankly speaking, I got a lot of time. I don't think I have dearth of time. I still have, I very strongly believe I can do far more. I think I still waste 8 to 10 hours of my day. Yeah.
Yogesh, you have actually raised some points. I think now it's time to close the interaction. I'm going to release this video in 2 parts because very important, very impactful discussion we had. And you said something which is very interesting. You said, thank you, COVID. So let me share one thing. When it was COVID days, all that I have done, written and all that, it's all because of, these are the kids of COVID. Had I had this not happened with what happened in 2020 and 2021, I would not have written a single book. That was the time when, of course, I needed a nudge. My wife kept on asking, why don't I start it? Why don't I start it? Why don't you write at least one page? And then things have started happening. And actually, this book, which is there in all the bookstores, is actually something which I wrote in wave 2 when things were happening and it's all in flames across the country. People were showing TV. So 2002, and I thought of just turning my face away from TV news channels. I stopped this, and I thought, let me engage me apart from working, because I was working full time as head of HR. Let me do something to keep me positive. And then I used to spend between 5 to 7 o'clock while writing, and then 8 o'clock onwards, CHR of this multinational. And that's how this book came. And now, of course, many people are getting inspired. So what you said is very important. You said it very openly. And that's at the core of all the books which I have written and all the things which I've been talking about. So audience, please, go back to the sentence which Yogesh said, thank you. Some of the challenges, because of which we actually do something which is like huge and immense. And that's at the core of human civil evolution. And everybody who has done anything great has done because of, and not despite, but because of actually challenges, because that's the thing which breaks our comfort zone and makes us think in a different way. Thank you so much, Parul and Yogesh. It has been an amazing conversation. This is going to get released in 2 versions because I think it's very intense interaction which we had. And Parul, once again, I know that you have got to take this decision of getting the right talent for the company. But when it came to choosing the life partner, you have taken absolutely the best decision, because here is Yogesh, who has always been talking about you and mentor and guru, and he is the person. Of course, I gave the examples in the beginning also. Both the times and I'm so happy that Yogesh, that you advised Parul also to join. Thank you so much, both of you, for your almost 1.5 hours on this Sunday, which belongs to, of course, family. And of course, I think, thank you so much for sharing your vital, very inspiring and full of energy nuggets of wisdom in life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Arun. And Arun, we would love to have such conversations with you whenever you feel that we should be a part of any conversation, because we really enjoyed having this conversation with you, because there were a lot of aspects which we never discuss usually unless someone asks us.
Thank you so much, Parul. It's so nice of you. And thank you so much, Yogesh, once again. We'll certainly come back. We'll have a lot of interactions. And today, maybe we can have one conversation on this farmhouse thing. And of course, there are a lot of connections with the universe, rules of the universe, which we'll talk about. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great Sunday. Thanks once again.
Okay, have a good time. Bye. Take care.